Good evening, family and friends of love and the scriptures. Good to have you with us on tonight. It's a good Wednesday night, the first Wednesday night of the year 2023. We're happy, of course, that the Lord has saw fit to bring us across into this new year with new opportunities, with new possibilities, with new just a newness that is before us. Um, we want to ask you that if, as you are watching with us, that you would share with others. Tonight, what I want us to do, because this is the new year, and I'll say it again, best New Year blessings to everybody. Best New Year blessings to you. I want to talk about, as I said from last time, the promo that I left about us being able to incorporate what I think are some of the most solid principles for building, whether that's the individual, the person, whether that's the family, whether it's the community, whether it's the nation, that are found in Kwanzaa, and how that can be incorporated into designing a new year. Sister Kathy Brown, Brother C.L. Brown from Branson, Missouri, are with us tonight. Blessings on you. So glad to have you with us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think for us too many times we don't realize how a plan for the new year, or having a plan for the new year, or not having a plan for the new year, can determine how successful, or to what degree of success we can actually experience in a new year. Um, Even though with our jobs, we realize that um, if we want to have something new happen work wise, to have a promotion, or to have something different and new with the job, and to have something new and different in our relationship, those things require planning in order to be successful. And to have a successful new year is no different. Somebody just joined us on Facebook, is watching there. Welcome. I can't see exactly who it is. Tell me who you are. Glad to have you with us. Welcome to the first scripture show of the new year. I want to talk about ways to have a focus for success, a focus for planning for success for the new year, and I have a suggestion on how to incorporate what, again, I could to be very strong, very imperative and meaningful principles to help us in our new year. Um, I want to say very quickly, I hope everybody had a good and wonderful holiday season. I did myself, even though after I came back from traveling, had some issues with a cough and some kind of condition that kept me drained for a few days, but getting through it, thanking God. And there are others of us in the community who have had some health and health challenges and issues, and we're praying for all of us in our community to be well. We know some kind of respiratory stuff, and still issues with COVID, and flu season as well is upon us. And so I just speak healing, I speak health to us all, because I believe starting out the new year, there is even a plan, of course, that we can have for being healthy and being well. And many of us already do that in terms of the way that we eat, in terms of the way we address our immune health. And so I pray that that continues, that we stay vigilant with that in a self-care way, which has been our way throughout the year last year, self-care journey. The you complete a self-care journey. You do not complete a self-care journey. You are living, you are to be caring for yourself. And interestingly, even at the point of convalescence when we don't even care for ourselves. Guess what? Somebody is there caring for us. And so the care journey, the care of self, the care of souls is a continuing one, just like from the perspective of scriptures, that planning well, continuing to have a goal for success is something that for their lives. Let me, I don't even like using the term unpack. I heard that so much in undergraduate. Let's unpack this. We unpack. Let's look at, let's examine, let's analyze. I keep using this term success. What in the world are you talking about, preacher, when you say success? And you might hear it and equate it with what you hear every other people talk about as success. I'm not looking at success in that same way in terms of gathering more, gaining, addition to what we already have. I don't understand success in that way. I understand that many do. But my model for success, my description of success actually comes from the scriptures. Interesting story. When Abraham sends his servant for a wife for his son, he gives very discreetly, very distinctly, where he does not want him to get her from. Don't get her from these women around here, he says very plainly. He says, go to where I am from. Go get her from where I am from, my people. And as the servant goes, the servant prays. He stops and he prays. His prayer, in fact, this way. In recognition of what his master has asked him, he asked God this: give me good success. The servant's understanding of success was for him to achieve what his master sent him. In other words, him to accomplish what he was assigned to do. In his mind, that's what success was. He asked to allow that to happen to him, that what his master told him to do, that he was able to complete the task that's given to him. He understood that as success. Talk about successful year. I'm talking in the overarching concept of what your purpose, your call is for the year 2023, and you being able to fulfill, accomplish, to do what that purpose, and we understand purpose to be God-given, what that purpose is for us to achieve and to fulfill that purpose. Now, that's a whole lot of other stuff I already know, because some are going to ask, well, I don't know my purpose. I don't understand my purpose. How do I know that? And I'm so glad you asked, because guess what? For this first part of the year, January, the understanding and discussion about purpose is going to be a part of what we do. In fact, next week, purpose is going to be a part of the love and scriptures discussion is. So for the purpose of this discussion, planning success for the year and incorporating meaning principles to do that, let us begin. I'll reiterate and say that in order to fulfill what the purpose, what the call, what the responsibility, the role is for you, you have to plan for it. Yes. You have to plan for it. Things probably are out of order for me to do this in terms of these principles without talking about purpose first, because these principles have a built-in. And so in terms of constructing the basics of a successful year, having a, in the general sense, not related to what you individually and I specifically are called to, in the general sense of building ourselves individually, building our families, building our communities, and even building the nation. These principles have latent within them the idea of, and so to begin or to build a plan for the year, to begin that way, it's to understand that I have to have for myself, I have to want to have something for myself, for my family, my community, for the nation. And so within these are the ideas of really strong individual buildings and way to add to one. There are economic and entrepreneurial ideas in here. There's very strong building aspects in here. And so in bringing these ideas together, achievement of the level of personal, the level of family, level of community, and national success are all in here. The first principle, we talked about these last week. I'm not going to do the deep dive this week. I'm laying plan, the way to see a successful. The first one is, interestingly, to build a stronger me, even does not begin with the yes me. Principles of Kwanzaa to help your year be successful, to help the family, community, and the nation, is to be centered around the idea of unity. How do I strive to maintain unity of the family, the community, the nation, according to the principle of Kwanzaa, of the race? What way I develop and look for ways to maintain unity. Of course, there's a whole lot can be said about it, but just again, the overall concept to be successful in the year at every level, personal, family, and nation, unity is the outlook. There's a lot you can rhyme with that, unity in the community, just so many different things. But to know that if I want the end of the year successful experience, then that begins with my outlook and concept of unity. Second, to incorporate, or second principle to incorporate in making the year successful is self-determination. What does that mean? That means that as I act, and I'm talking about every level, myself, I don't resign to the names that call me or the ways that people refer to me, especially if they're negative, but even sometimes the positive tags that people put on us can hinder and hamper what our success is about. We can get dragged to their idea of success for us. We may not be the idea of success for us. A whole lot of people have a whole lot of plans for our lives a lot of times. That's not the best for us. And so determining the Kwanzaa principle in Swahili kujichagulia means that we define ourselves, because we're operating still on the idea of unity. We define ourselves, we name ourselves, we create for ourselves, and speak for ourselves. In this time that we live in, you have to be able to stand up and speak for yourself. And this principle is a way, this self-determination to Build yourself a successful year. The next principle, collective work and responsibility, is about taking the outlook of your community. Um, that together you make the problems in the community your own problems. And that's a big, hard thing. But the point is that you solve them together. A lot of stuff gets undone where we are because we see it as something else created, even though it affects us. We don't want to touch it because we didn't do it. There were 5 of us growing up in the house together, and boy, oh boy, that blame game was something else. Even when it was true that it wasn't me, it was him, but I could just hear he did it, she did it. It wasn't me, it was not me, not me. But when that happens, when nobody takes responsibility for what has gone wrong, then the problem persists and it pulls us all back. It holds us all back. But the principle of collective work and responsibility says we'll look at what's wrong and going on, and we will say we can solve what the issues are. That's how you have a successful new year for your own life. Some of the things that's happened to you are not your fault. Okay. But collective work and responsibility says, I may have not gotten myself here, but I am here. And for me to get out and to do good and to be something successful, I got to say, I'm going to take on this problem and solve it to get myself out of this mess. At the level of family, at the level of community and nation, it is also true. The next principle that we can incorporate to make our year a successful year. Sister Maxine McNeil has joined us, and Sister Phyllis Lloyd has also joined us. Blessings on you both. Best New Year wishes to you, and thank you for being with us on Love in the Scriptures. The next principle that we can incorporate, Pastor Valerie Bennett Wiley is here. Blessings on you. Good to have you with us tonight. Another way, and Rakiba Dismuke is also here. Best New Year blessings on you. Good to have you with us tonight. Another principle for us to plan to have a successful new year is a principle of cooperative economics. And I said to us that in these 7 principles, and maybe I should say, because some people think Kwanzaa is a anti-Christmas or is the opposite of. And I have to suggest to us, sisters and brothers, Kwanzaa isn't a religious celebration at all. It is a cultural celebration that incorporates personal, it incorporates entrepreneurial, community, and economic principles in order to build. And so the next principle in that regard is cooperative economics. And for us to have a successful new year, guess what? Money answers all things. The Bible says that to us, that money answers all things. And so in order to be successful personally in this new year, in order to be successful as a family, as a community, and as a nation, the issue of economics is imperative. And this principle of cooperative economics works in our plan to be successful in the new year. The idea carries to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses, and to profit from them together. Do you see how the idea, the first principle is of unity, is working through all of these other principles? It's not taking a self-centered or self-seeking approach to success. It's not taking a personal, individual approach to building, but the outlook of unity in order to benefit all whom we are connected with is a central theme that is running through all of the principles. And with that idea in mind, it is a success for the year that can be built with us among us, by us, and for us. And that's whoever your us is. That's whatever community, whatever family you are a part of. This success is tiered for the personal level, the family level, the community level, the national level. And so whoever your us is, who's ever a part of your community, whoever is a part of your tribe, your family, your kith, your kin, however you'll describe that, the idea of unity is imbued through all of these principles and tying together the idea of a successful new year, not just for me alone, but for those who are a part of what is my family, my tribe. The next principle brought in to focus our success is the principle of purpose. 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 And I've said it already earlier that next week is actually going to be a love in the scripture focus on purpose alone, just on purpose. But one of the principles of success to be incorporated in making this year a purposeful, a successful year is purpose itself. Listen how it incorporates or how it's described here. It's to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. And that's a purely Kwanzaa description, devoted description of purpose there. But that's the idea of the purpose for your family and your specific community as well. I think most of us have seen better days and how our family has been, how we have been coming through this pandemic when financially it has hit some people really hard. Of course, physically, it has hit people really hard. And in many other ways, some of the things that we've experienced in the last few years has taken a nice swipe against us. This principle of purpose in building in a successful new year says that we will be in the business of building and developing the community and our place around us to restore back to the level of traditional greatness. That's our people. That's our nation, that's our community, our family, and ourselves. And we'll talk, as we have in times before, about the ways that we restore and rebuild ourselves to a place of greatness. So that's either a return to greatness or a place of greatness that we have yet to receive. And that comes through our committed life, through a love checkup. The next, and I just have two more, principle for us to build a successful plan for the new year is creativity. How about that? And it's about always, as much as we can, to do what we can to leave the place we came from more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited or left it. We have places in life where we elevate from one stage to another. We go from one kind of work to a better work situation. We go from one level of status to another level of status. We go to one type of living situation to another type of living situation. We go from one type of driving situation to another type of driving situation. What creativity, the principle of creativity has to do with is ensuring that whatever place we leave behind, that we don't regret it, that we don't have a negative aspect or outlook on where we're going, have gone from because we're going somewhere else. But we do everything we can to make sure the place we left is also blessed, because somebody's going to be in that space. And in terms of having a successful new year, it's not good for me that I'm going to better and bad for you because that's where you are now. No. But we've got to ensure that the best is left behind us, that we do what we can to leave it the best, because our blessing to going to the next place and the next step is tied to, in a real sense, how we leave where we left the last place. And then the last principle, the principle of faith. To believe in all our hearts, in our people, in ourselves, in our community, the righteousness and the victory of our struggle. The song comes to mind, old song of the faith. If you've got the faith to believe, my brother, if you've got the faith to believe, my sister, if you've got the faith, you can say to the mountain, I want you to move. Faith is a key in the building of a plan for a successful future, using these 7 principles, because for what is ahead, it's going to take more than we're able to see right now. For everything that is to be accomplished and to be achieved, we're going to have to be able to see past what we can see. And so to build a successful future, I like the way I heard the preacher say it some decades ago, you got to leave a footprint in the future. And one of the best ways to put a footprint in the future is by your faith. For us, then, a successful new year is not only possible, I think it's necessary. And what I want to do through the rest of this year on Love in the Scriptures, periodically, quarterly, come back and revisit and re-examine and reapply and reapproach these 7 principles to help our success. Somebody say, I've been looking for you. That's my godmother. Hey, Ma, you made it. All right. But to come back and to re-examine and reassess these principles for our future throughout the year. That's what I want to do. Next week, purpose is going to be the subject. And I want us to think about where we are in terms of our purpose. Do we understand it? Do we know what it is? And how are we to be a people of purpose? Thank you for joining me tonight. So glad you all have come. Be sure next week to join us 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Love and the Scriptures, where we will talk about purpose. Blessings on you. Good night.